So we move on to our next panel discussion of the day. This session focuses on an important topic, driving efficiency through connectivity, Bharatmala roadways, Sagarmala ports and waterways, and Udhan regional air connectivity. So we will also be displaying the results of the poll. So thank you so much for taking part in the poll. And now it's my pleasure to invite our session chairman and moderator to the dais, Captain Ram Iyer, Vice President, Seahorse Ship Agencies Private Limited, and our panelists, Shri Haranadh, IRTS, Chairperson, Paradip Port Authority, Mr. Hamdi Osman, Founder and CEO, SolitAir, Mr. Atul Kharate, COO, Indian Oil Adani Ventures Limited, Mr. Vipul Mishra, Senior Development Specialist, JICA, and Mr. Arghya Chattopadhyay, VP and Head, Roads and Runways, BU, Larsen and Toubro Limited. A round of applause, please, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kharate. That's an ominous start. Thank you. Lovely. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are slightly late, not too late. I know everyone is hungry. Everyone is looking at that time. Why are we in between? Good sometimes lunch outside, and why are we all talking? Well, let me just put it across. It's a privilege, first and foremost. It's a privilege to be speaking with you all, to be right here. Thanks to Bombay Chamber team for putting me on the dais at the last minute. And they said, like, you need to talk some. I don't want to use such words. You need to talk something and make sure you make some sense on that. Well, I will try. We talked about, there was Mr. Sanjay Surabji gave a lovely presentation. Dr. Pandranji, he moderated a lovely session. Now it's our time. We all talk about shipping, we all talk about logistics and all those things. End of the day, we talk about logistics. It's all about logistics. We are here, and it's a 12th edition. Seahorse has been associated with all the 12 editions of this conference. And we have an esteemed panel here to talk about a very, very pertinent topic called connectivity. Cargo doesn't begin and end with ports. It needs to either come in from the factories inland, or it needs to go into the consumption center. People would call it farm to fork or whatever. All those terminologies are all fundas. The fundas galore. But the most important thing is connectivity. We all talked about connectivity and things like that. And then there is this beautiful thing. I made some notes, and the Bombay Chamber has given me some notes as to set the tone for the entire thing. I'll go quickly on that. Last few years have been an excellent performance of shipping and logistic industry. But what is happening presently, come 2025, industry is looking at challenges, complex scenario. We have a good man called as Donald Trump, who has come in, and it is changing the scenario day by day. I use the word DT. Please don't take DT as anything else but Donald Trump. Okay? And it's a challenging and complex scenario with macroeconomic, global headwinds, shifting consumer preference, what have you. Another beautiful thing India says, like it's embarked on its 5 trillion GDP along with this push to achieve $1 trillion export push. It's not me. It's the government which has said all these things. Pandranji, am I correct? This is what the government has said. Ports are only the gateways. And it is in this context we are here to deliberate on this very pertinent topic of seamless connectivity of these centers with gateway ports and ensure seamless logistics. Logistic necessitating efficient, effective, seamless. We keep on using the word efficient, effective, seamless, blah, 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 continue. Fluid exchange and movement of. But when I talk about logistics or trade, there are three things. I say information transmission across, documents transmission across, this is trade. And then the actual movement. This is what the trade really wants. This is what the trade or the Bombay Chamber represents the trade, the shippers, the exporters, the importers, the manufacturers, and all these things. This is what they want. They want ease of doing business. They want this to move, cargo to move. They want the document to move. They want information to move in the most efficient manner. We all, quite a few of us, we all have been in shipping and logistics for years. I've been in this business for about close to 5 decades. We know how it was difficult to pass information. Now, things have changed. And then when you talk about seamless interchange, each interchange means handling plus cost, and Indian government is endeavoring best. That's what they say, to reduce logistic costs. The trade here will say, are we really reducing our logistic cost or not? Logistic cost is a very serious misnomer, according to me. It's all my views, sir. Sorry, disclaimer, no one else has said it's mine. I use the word x-axis, y-axis, point of origin. Everything is a misnomer. You can say this is plus 14%, this is plus 8%, whatever it is. It is like what is the baseline you're going to use? We all are good at it, how to use baselines. Shipping and logistics have gone a sea change over the last 5 decades. I've been associated with this, and more so in the last 20 years, ever since internet has come in, ever since various other ease of communication has come in. Everyone is wanting more and more. Customers, trade have upped their expectations, expecting nothing less than, they expect nothing less. Today, everybody wants yesterday, answers information yesterday. It is like they say something, I think there is a new ad which is going on in the telly nowadays, which says, 5 nahi to 50. That means if you don't get what you want, the ride within 5 minutes, you will get $50 as your challenge. This is what we have come to. Today, people want things yesterday. That is exactly what it is. Customers, trade have upped their expectations. And everybody is rightfully so. What is it? End of the day, logistics needs to deliver. Movement of cargo means presently movement by rail. Today, what are we talking about? Road, rail, or waterways? And we will not talk about the enhanced usage of drones. We will not talk about the much thing about Hyperloop and all those things which came like a bubble, and it is all gone into the cold. Along with all this, there is a Damocles sword of climate change. There's a TINA factor. We need to move from road to rail to sea to the most greenest mode of connectivity. India's large domestic economy, industrial growth, catering to big population of us. India is committed to climate neutral by 2070. Globally, countries committed to go neutral between 2040 and 2050. Where are we? IMO commitment to shipping, 2040. We all agree that only a concerted and time-oriented effort can strengthen environmental sustainability and save the earth. This has already been discussed. Well, it is imperative that we strategize effectively and ensure an environment sustainability. There are many other things on connectivity which the government has talked about, INST, IMEC. All these are great initiatives. Only time will tell where it is going to be there. But closer on hand, I have an esteemed panel to talk about all these things. We would have allowed someone from the waterways also to be present, but I believe the key official has regretted at the last minute. But more though, we have an esteemed person, Mr. Haranadh, Chairman of Paradip Port. I don't have to say much about him. Well, he is well known across the shipping and logistics circle here. Paradip Port, the largest by volume throughput over the last many years. The only person once in a while who challenges them is Kandla Port. Otherwise, they are the leaders in all these things. And Mr. Haranadh is also a senior IRTS official. So I will not. So he is well versed with the word connectivity, and he is the right man to take this forward. Can I ask you a first question, sir? Paradip it's like before you go on to, I want you to share the full thing. But I would like a small question from my side, my end, not just about what we are talking about, all those things which have been shared with me, I will put as very simple questions, sir. You are one of the largest importer of coal. You handle you handle close to about 40 million tons of coal. Coal, the word coal is in the world called as decarbonization. That is another challenge. We don't want to use that word coal. So please share with your experience on how you are handling coal and the connectivity issues on that, sir. Thank you. Before we go on to the next one, sir. Okay.
Thank you so much. First of all, I express my sincere thanks to Bombay Chamber of Commerce for inviting me for this excellent workshop. So first, a little bit I'll talk about, as a prelude to the question, the Indian ports capacity has gone up substantially thanks to the Sagarmala program launched by Government of India in 2015. The major ports, which are 12 major ports in the country, whose cumulative total capacity was at the time was 800 million tons, has gone up to 1600 million tons last year. And the non-major ports, which are private ports, about 1100 million tons. Total put together, we have 2700 million ton capacity, and last year we handled about 1600 million tons. So as the economy grows, as we are very fastly developing economy, transforming into third major economy in the world by 2030 or even before. So we have to handle an exim cargo or the cargo throughput to the ports to the tune of about almost 2.4 million tons, 2.4 billion tons, 2400 million tons by 2030. Since the ports operate efficiently at 70% capacity, any utilization beyond 70% capacity will result in huge congestions. So we have to accordingly, we have to expand our capacities. That is what going on, which is the Sagarmala program. And it to go up to 3500 million tons by 2030. As we are expanding our capacity of the ports, now the question comes how it gets connected to the hinterland. The cargo originates and the cargo is destined to go to the hinterland. The connectivity makes very important. Here, for example, I'll take the example of coal itself, what he has raised. So Talcher coal fields, we don't import much coal, we coastal ship. Almost in India, about 250 million tons of coastal shipping happens every year, out of which 60 to 70 million tons are handled at Paradip port itself. So we are the highest coastal shipping handler. So Talcher coal mines, which is the Mahanadi coal fields mines, are about 250 kilometers away from Paradip, and the coal goes to Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka Gencos for power production. So the two options is, one option is it can go all rail route, and second one, it can come through Paradip port and go by ship, by coastal shipping route. The coastal shipping route, and when the second leg is when the power plant is located very close to the port, and the coastal shipping route is very, very economical, not only in environmental sense, but also in terms of cost of logistics also. I got calculated, if for Tamil Nadu, and powerhouses which are located near Ennur and Tuticorin, if they take through coastal shipping, they are saving almost 800 rupees per ton, which is quite huge margins if they go by coastal shipping. So this coastal shipping route now at present 100% comes by rail because coal cannot be transported by road. So we have a capacity of about 65 railway rake unloading capacity, but we get about 40 rakes approximately because of the connectivity issues. The railway capacity augmentation is going on very fast, especially last 4 or 5 years. It has been taken up very seriously. There is working upon. Apart from that, what we are trying to do is there is a Brahmini river in Orissa which passes through the Talcher and it comes to the Paradip, which is national waterway number 5. This national waterway number 5 is being developed very fast as by the SPV and comprising of Coal Ministry and Inland Waterway and Paradip Port Authority and Government of Orissa put together. We are developing. It is a 15,000 crore project. So once this is operationalized, so the entire coal, it provides an alternative mode of transport for transportation of coal from Talcher coal mines to Paradip. It not only reduces the congestion as well as the cost, but also it will improve the carbon footprints that will be released, because normally the transportation through barges is considered environmental friendly mode of transport. So that will help in a overall impact, both on ecological sense as well as the economical sense. So it will make a huge impact on the coal transportation through coastal shipping.
Thank you, sir. That is wonderful to know that quite a large section is being proposed to be moved via the inland waterways. That is really fantastic. You said something about you still have ample capacity to handle more. Because as per the latest report which has been published, it said like India is not at any time going to reduce its coal consumption. So it is pleasing to hear that you have more than ample capacity. You are only running at around 70% capacity. You still have 30 more capacity, and you are working more on your green connectivity via the roadways. That is very beautiful to hear. Now, there is one more thing which I wanted to have. Would you like to share the various initiatives quickly, so that various initiatives you have gone to ensure excellent connectivity on your endeavors on you as the leading port, major port in India, multimodal connectivity and digitalization?
Yeah. Paradip Port, I will just enumerate 2-3 initiatives we have taken up. So one most important thing is the port-led industrialization. If the industries are located very far away from the port in the hinterland, the connectivity problem comes. So if you see the Google map of the China 30 years back and now compare with the present Google map, all the industries which are located deep in the hinterland have moved toward the coastal regions. It will not only reduce the logistic cost, but also solve the problems of the connectivities. So we have gone for a port-led industrialization, and we have a limited land available, of course. Almost about 800 acres of land we have allotted to various industries and within the port area. Second most, these are some of the industries are the iron ore pellet manufacturing companies, because iron ore is a huge in Orissa. Iron ore gets exported. Now, of course, the pellets market is picking up. So around 50 million tons of iron ore pellet production we have allotted the land. So we have convinced these people that don't go for bringing a railway connectivity, don't plan the aggregation of iron ore cargo through rail. Please go for pipelines. So they're all now, we have denied rail connectivity to them. Because if 50 million tons production has to happen, and almost about 40 additional rakes have to move, which is simply impossible. So now all these players, 3 players are there, all the 3 players have already got ROW for pipeline connectivity. It costs about 8 crores per kilometer, and around 200 kilometers, hardly about 600 to 2000 crores they have to spend individually if they have pipelines. But the payback is very, very fast. So you can see that calculate if a ton of iron ore is transported from the mines to the Paradip port, it costs about 650 rupees. If it comes through pipeline, it costs about 160 rupees. 500 rupees net saving will be there if they move by the pipeline. And the 500 means almost if you move 50 million tons of 10 million tons, even if they move into 500 crores per year, they can save, and around 6 to 7 or 8 years. The entire capital investment would they have invested will come back, and it is an environmentally good mode of transport, operationally cheaper, logistic cost is cheaper, and there is no need to have that kind of dynamic situations of rake availability and all that will not be there. So this is one thing we have done. And second thing what we are doing is we are trying to connect the most of the industries which are located nearby through conveyors. Otherwise, what will happen? They will move the cargo to the port through the trucks, the huge trucks. Now 500 to 5,000 trucks every day we receive, and 5,000 trucks leave the port. So it's a huge congestions happen. So that's why what we are trying to do is we are connecting the industries through conveyor. And now what we are trying to do, second thing is we are also going for a solar in a big way. 20 megawatt solar power plant we are establishing. The tender is already on. So once that comes, all these operations are powered through solar. So it is a sustainable way of creating operations and also reducing the logistic costs, so that our overall an ecosystem of comfort and convenience and cost effectiveness is there for the customers who are planning their cargo throughput to the Paradip port.
Thank you, sir. That is a wonderful. This is what when I talked about the simple thing as cost-effective solution. It is just not about connectivity, it is like you said, like you are encouraging them to use conveyors and things like that. This is the most, and it is cost effective. These are the out of the box thinking, out of the box solutions, which is really needed for a country like India. I'm pleased to share that if, I don't know how many of you know, but in Mundra, you have this new copper smelter, which is Kutch Copper Adani smelter. And they are connected to the port by a 7.5 kilometer pipe conveyor. 7.5 kilometer. And whilst Adani ports there, normally discharges, when they discharge coal, the West Basin, they discharge at around 50,000 tons per day and blah, blah, blah. With this, and it is moved by conveyors and everything. With this Kutch copper, which is like copper, this is the longest conveyor, as I know, which is in Asia for such thing. Such innovative solutions are the need of the hour. Can I go on to the next speaker, sir? All right. Okay, just because of paucity of time. All right. Now, it's my privilege to invite Mr. Hamdi Osman. And he's the founder and CEO of SolitAir. That's what it says. But more important than that, he is a veteran in air cargo logistics. And he has been one of the leaders. Let's talk about this. He has been heading FedEx in these regions for a long time. Mr. Osman, thanks for being on this panel. Couple of questions, not many. All right. There are a couple of questions. First question is, I need you to share your experience in this part of the world, how air cargo logistics assists in seamless logistics. Numbers. How FedEx has been the pioneer in that, so that we can learn from that. And what is it through SolitAir you are presently proposing to do in this part of the world? Second question is, India has launched a beautiful scheme called as Udan scheme, wherein a number of airports are being opened up in various smaller towns and things like that. How will it, or what is your thoughts on that? How is it going to change or revolutionize air logistics? And that too, connectivity and various other things, with the focus on connectivity, which is the theme of the conference here, sir. All yours, sir.
Thank you, Captain Ram. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Madam President. Thank you for inviting me, and also our partner, Mr. Ravi Ramchandran from GAC and his team. Thank you for the invitation also. First of all, I have spent 34 years with FedEx. I retired about 10 years ago. And one of the things after starting in the US, two things I learned. Obviously, keeping the main thing, which a lot of people get confused about exactly what they want to do. And I think what made FedEx today to become the $100 billion company, and as you know, one of our good employees, we work together, worked for me for 1 year. Today, he's the CEO of FedEx Worldwide, which is Mr. Raj Subramaniam. Now, I'm very proud to say that. One thing is, before we start, I have visited 122 cities in India, and I'm very proud of it. I don't think any of my friends, Indian friends, which is 80% of my friends all from India, because living in Dubai, as you know, and also in the US, it would give me a little, I would say, 5% knowledge of India. When I came here back in the 91 to run the region for FedEx from the US, India was my biggest country to work with. Unfortunately, back in the early days, air cargo was not that what you see today. We'll take a package to come from the US to India 2 days, but take intra-India 5 to 10 days. Think about it. We land in Mumbai, then we have to put it in the belly of the domestic airline. Back then was all Air India or Indian Airline, and takes to get it to Calcutta probably 6 or 7 days. Hence, we created what you see today, one of the largest cargo domestic company. It's called Blue Dart Aviation. It was created by us with help in 1992 After Blue Dart, 2 years, put it in the air with all FedEx. My team came from the US. We worked with the Indian team and was launched back then. Even on the, when Blue Dart went public, I was there, the guy in the middle between Tushar Jani and Clyde Cooper. So that's what the knowledge of India. And also I got to visit every factory in the country, because when we introduced 3 wide-body aircraft into India, back then, back in the late 90s, I was flying into direct from Memphis into Dubai, Delhi, back again, first 777, put it on that route. We have a daily flight into Mumbai and daily flight into Bangalore. With that, think about it, 250 to 300 tons every single day, 5 days a week out of India. Back when only garment, 80% will fill the plane, garment, the rest, everything else. Today, as you know, the shift happened, and you got more pharmaceutical going out of this country than any other, and many other things. In my tagline on our company today, SolitAir, I say connecting the global south, because when I got involved about 6 years ago after retirement with the WPL, the World Passport Logistic, which is anything in the global south going from China all the way to Latin America or anything in between, it's going to be like you get a visa for Schengen. You get the visa in one country and can be able to have access to the rest of those countries. That's what's going to happen with the World Logistic Passport, which is India's major partner into that, which you will see the flow of logistic or freight from China all the way to Latin America, and also vice versa, coming the back way. Because of the BRICS country, and you look at the growth of the BRICS country, by far India leading the GDP with 7% last year, and with America, with all the mighty Donald Trump and what's happening right now, America last year was only 2.7. You look at the BRICS country, other than South Africa, was at flat. Russia grew at 3.7. As you know, China grew by 4.8. Brazil, 3.8. So where the growth is happening? Agriculture, global south. Manufacturing, global south. Mine and gold and everything else, global south. So global south, to me, is the future. India, if not as equal to China, in my opinion, based on what's happening right now, with the way India is going in the last 10 years, you know, we always say, talk cheap, you know, seeing it is believing it. And India has been exactly a good example, and I make example of that in every public speaking I make about India. They truly walk the talk quietly. And as a result of anybody to pay attention to is India, especially for the next 10 years, in a good way, not in a bad way. The one thing I would say to answer your question on the Udan, with those small airports, I think the government, in my opinion, the government should do more and more. Let me give you an example. My first job in FedEx after I became a manager to a senior manager in New York, manager in New Jersey, senior manager in New York, managing director in the Northeast, which I have all Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. We operated 8 airports, all the small airports. Our back then 727 used to land in Boston. I'm from Boston. We used to take it to Portland, Maine, Presque Isle, Maine, into Plattsburgh, New York, and into Burlington, Vermont. How did we do that? Not by trucking. Trucking was already there and all that stuff, but to get it fast to the customer, be able to compete with the UPS and DHL of the world and all that, we used the smaller aircraft, the 1 ton, the 2 ton, up to the ATR 72, whatever, 78 tons. That's what needed to be done here in India. You know, I know has not been successful, and I remember back then a friend of mine by name Captain Iyer, when he started Deacon 360 or whatever, his idea to start ATR and maybe be able to take it, he was not successful for many reasons, but anyway, it stopped. I think those small airports, and today I understand there's going to be 50 plus airports, small airport, this is where they're going to get you speed to the market. And that's what I think is going to revolutionize the the trade from India to the international, because a small airport will feed into the big airport, hence will be able to feed to the international airports. And I stop right there.
Lovely. You talked about, this is what I was looking at. See, we talked about things like India's thrust on agri exports, India's thrust on pharma exports. This all needs air freight, all right? And when we talk about, because there is like smaller places like Himachal, Baddi, where the pharma industries are there and all these places. Now, when we talk of this and we talk about smaller airports feeding into the major airports and things like that, I want you to quickly talk about the connectivity or the interchange, because this is where your expertise come in, which can be shared with the team here. Because as we see in the present scenario, there's quite a bit of congestion. How can we avoid congestion and backlog at the airports? Because now I see that a number of airlines with all their, bellies are full, and more freighters are being positioned into India. Because many operators, we are not talking about Turkish, we are not talking about the Qatars who have really come in a big way. And not just about DHLs and FedExes and things like that. There are more and more airlines looking for belly cargo. And how this can be resolved, please.
Sure. Two things before I start, or maybe three, I will add one more thing. Three things that are happening right now. The shift happened. The changes are happening. One, you got to understand, anybody who believes in CRM, customer relation management, let me tell you bad news, is dead. Anybody who believes in customer experience, I'll give you another bad news, is dead. Anybody who believes in customer intimacy is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world of expectation. Customer is expected. Take yourself when you get on a plane. When the door closes, do you really care if it's a 777 or A380 or 350 or A321? You don't care. You expect it. You want that service that you paid the money for to get expected. When you go to a hotel, when you go to a government entity, when you walk in, you expect it. We all live in expected. Customer of today, they don't say how much, except in India, of course. They don't say how much, but they say how fast. And that's what Captain Ram was talking about. In the e-commerce world that we live in today, believe it or not, Amazon made a survey 3 years ago. They found out if a customer get their goods after 3 days, 33% of the customer return the goods because they don't remember. As a result, today is expecting to get your delivery, if it's not the same day, by tomorrow. That's one. One thing also Captain Ram mentioned, do you know that the Fortune 500, majority of the Fortune 500, 80% of them, 30% of in their budget is logistic and transportations. Let me repeat, 30% of your budget is logistic and transportation. So we're not going away. Anybody in this room, our business is never gonna go away. If you buy air, ground, or sea, our business will continue, because I believe that in the trade, logistic is the spine cord of any economy. And to grow that economy, obviously, we have to make sure the connectivity from India to all the traders, and for successful company to be able to get into your nearest country. You cannot reach it either by two, unfortunately, not the three ways, only two ways, either by sea or by air. Hence, the air has to be improved and need to be improved immediately. How do you do that? Obviously, a small company like us, we just started 6 months ago, we be able to, my tagline is connecting the global south. However, it's a daily express schedule cargo airline. What does that mean? Means I will give to India in the 5 key market daily schedule cargo express airline. That means I'm carrying everything. However, I cannot do it alone. We have to work with partners, with alliance in India to make it beyond India, into the Indian subcontinent. And also the same thing from our end into the GCC and Africa. The access, I always used to say, India is the gateway to Africa, India is the gateway to Russia, India the gateway into China. And without India, honestly, this region of ours, if you do the 6 hours radius, you cannot do the business on your own without Indian involvement in there. Hence, you got a huge opportunity, people in the business, to really look into the aviation side of the business with due respect to the sea, logistic and all that. Aviation is the name of the game, and especially on a smaller airport and also on the surrounding country. Give you last example. Maldives, next door to you. 50% of the hotels in Maldives today is owned by between Abu Dhabi and Dubai government, the hotels. Hence, all the goods, F&B, is put on a plane every single day to make it to the Maldives. Can you imagine? India right next door. Rather than going from India comes to Dubai, we put it on the plane and take it to Maldives. We can be going from India direct into the Maldives from here. And I can give you many other examples.
Thank you, Mr. Sandhi. We need much more time than this. We will discuss all the sidelines. All right. I need to go on to the next panelist, Mr. Atul Kharate, CEO of Indian Oil Adani Ventures Limited. Welcome on board, sir. Like Indian Oil, Indian major, conglomerate, and joined with Adani. Need we say anything more? We are right there. And the main thing, 2 questions I would like to pose on this one is your strategies because you are the ones bringing in, transporting it all across, your strategies for transporting energy all across, bringing in and out, strategies of day, strategies for future, and second thing about the LNG. What we are going to do, even on that, I would like to hear from you about the strategies for moving it inland. All right? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Captain Ram. Since I represent a joint venture company of Indian Oil and Adani Ports and SEZ, when we talked about oil and gas industry, it's always at the center of discussion, be it an integral part of supply chain management, or be it is highly integrated with the GDP growth and economic factors of the country. Before talking about the strategic approach, I would just like to set a brief context in terms of the role of oil and gas industry in the current scenario. We are one of the most stable economy today, ranked 4th and 5th in the global scale, and we are on the right path in terms of the 3rd world's largest economy. Oil and gas in Indian scenario is having a very key role in terms of those achievements. If you see the last decade or so, the demand of the country in terms of petroleum product is increasing at the rate of 2.3%. Even the gases demand is increased by close to 3%. And the other traditional sources of energy like coal, post-COVID scenario, that has been also increased by more than 7% or so. Apart from that, the key factor which are associated with energy industry is like power demand is increasing by 3.5%. We are one of the 2nd largest steel producer. In terms of crude, we are one of the 3rd largest in the globe. When we talked about agriculture product, we are the 2nd largest in the globe. When we talked about the automobile segment, we are the 4th largest in the globe. So what does it mean? This list can be much more longer. What does it mean? It means we need a more infrastructure. When we need a more infrastructure, we need a more energy in this country. So when the companies like IOC or Adani Ports and SEZ try to put across our strategies, then we consider aspect of substantial growth in next 2 decades in this segment. And that is how a couple of factors which I just wanted to reflect upon. How can we basically have a strategic co-creation of the infrastructure? I will just give a very live example. We are talking about 60 MMTPA of refinery in the state of Maharashtra. It's a good development for the country, good for state. But in the latest era, we need to really think whether we need an 160 MMTP in Maharashtra itself, or can these refineries can be more integrated in terms of refineries now, integrated with the petrochemical complexes, and then can be converted to the very specialized petrochemical activities down the line, say next 25 years or so. So that thought process has to generate it from the current stage. Similarly, a capacity at one place of 60, is it going to add value to your central India and western India in more economic way or sustainable way? That also need to be think through. So when we are putting up ports as a major port or the medium-sized ports, those also have to have an integrated approach. Say for example, we have waterways of around say 20,200 plus kilometers of across the country through 111 numbers of national waterways, etc. So can we have an infrastructure in place right from the current scenario in terms of gas feeding facilities, availability of natural gas for these shipways, the barges? Can we have parallelly compressed biogas facilities so that the waste management and waste to energy can also be part of this integrated complexes? And then digitalization today is highly, I can say, in silos. Ship industry is following their own. The rail is a separate network. Then the secondary transportation, they have their own challenges and their own mechanism to work. So I think when we have to put ourselves as one of the most fastest developing country, we need to start thinking how can we integrate all those channels put together so that it will be a real infrastructure for the next 3 or 4 decades. And one of the relevant part here is public-private partnership. That is how my JV companies also reflect. That will add a lot of value to the whole system in the coming years. In the interest of time, I will be brief on this part. The second part, which Captain Ram has asked about the role of gas. So I think the gas is going to play a very vital role in the oil and gas or energy sector. If you see the last year, it's like 6.8% of gas consumption in the energy pie, which we intended to increase to 15%. So that means 2.5% of incremental growth is required. So the natural gas is going to play a very vital role. Apart from natural gas, I can say the new energies, like in the earlier panel, we are talking about hydrogen, we're talking about ammonia, maybe in the future methanol. So these are going to play a key role. And in the current scenario, under the waste to energy program or sustainable and affordable transportation mechanism, we have compressed biogas activities being taken care by Ministry of Petroleum, Ministry of New and Renewable Energies. So about 100 plants are up and running in the country, and another 200 plants are in the process of construction. So I think those plants will also going to play a very vital role when we see a contribution of gas in the energy pie. So just to summarize on the second question, gas is going to play a very vital role, and this is the right time in terms of putting infrastructure for the long drive. So with this thing, I will take a pause here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Atulji. Thank you for highlighting the need of the hour to ensure that the network for gas transmission right across the breadth of India is very critical and it's important. Now I just go across to the next panelist, Mr. Vipul Mishra, Senior Development Specialist at JICA. Well, one simple question to you. Your experience with JICA globally, what are the key takeaways and how you think your various supporting activities in the West, in the freight corridors and various across and the metros have really pushed India's connectivity across. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Iyer. Very good afternoon, and I am grateful that PCC has called JICA for this esteemed forum. So talking about JICA, I represent government of Japan. Then we JICA has a scientific approach. Not in JICA, in fact, all DFIs, World Bank, ADB, they consider a scientific and holistic approach. So the cooperation for the come from DFIs come as a master planning. So when I say master planning, it's all about that regional connectivity, regional aspect come in the focus. So what we have done in the past, and we are reflecting the same experience to India also. We talk about that we work on 5 E's: the efficiency for connectivity, sustainability, smart solutions, and intermodal connectivity, sustainability, and also the development capacity building. So talking about with example, what we have done in the past, that JICA has a flagship program from the which happened to be done in 3-4 decades, starting from late 1970s. So that was a maritime Asian economic corridor, in which 20 of countries, 10 countries were involved, and 24 projects for the port connectivity were taken up. Those projects were specifically focused on the regional efficiency of the logistic improvement, and also the individual capacity within the country. So though that project was completed in early 2000, and that has proven a very efficiency in the logistic improvement and bring down the cost of logistic, which the fellow panelists are talking about. And talking about the connectivity itself for that project, ASEAN Corridor project, that was not only port project. JICA also focused on the connectivity within the country. So they help the corridor for the by the road connectivity. They also focus on the rail connectivity. So that was a flagship program which JICA has a lot of experience. Japan has a lot of experience in that. And coming back to the India, Japan has recently, you must be aware that Japan has recently committed for 5 trillion investment and private investment, also along with the development assistance to India. So that is close to around $32 billion. So starting from 2022 until 2027, so we are in the middle of this investment program. So DFCC, of course, it's a flagship program, and then we have done a lot of good work in the DFCC, and we also getting the early results for DFCC, although it is yet to be completed by December this year. So I'll shift further focus little towards the eastern side. So there is a one BBIN program where Government of India has a motor vehicle agreement with the 4 countries, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal. So just to give an example what JICA is doing that in this program. So that basically, if we looking at the upliftment of economy, so we cannot left any state behind. So focusing on the northeastern region, so that the region we are putting the efforts for the connectivity. So Government of India already have one program for BBIN called, and then we are focusing how these upliftment of the economy of the region, and also the connectivity can be improved. So taking example of investment of Japan in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is getting one new port, but it's called Matarbari port, which is a deep sea port, first deep sea port in Bangladesh. So that would be having a capacity around 6 lakhs to a million container every year. Bangladesh cannot itself consume that capacity. So it has to get the potential from the other neighboring countries. So India is one of the partner for that. So we are looking at the BBN through BBN agreement. So we are expecting that the connectivity which Japan has invested. So for the Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Bhutan will bring up the new potential and new venues. So which I want to like to talk one project, especially the Dhubri Fulwari. Mr. Chattopadhyay must be knowing of that project. That is the longest sea bridge coming over the Brahmaputra river, connecting the Assam and Meghalaya. So that is around 20 kilometers length. So that bridge currently it has maybe in terms of traffic within the city or within the 2 states will not get too much of FIR. But if we see the region of that, the potential of that bridge, it connects the Nepal to Assam to Meghalaya, then connect to Bangladesh. So it opens some new avenues for the trade. And one classic example, which I think our Mr. Osman has talked about, that the India Maldives example. So how the DFI works in this to such scenario. There is a one issue in Tripura state. I would like to highlight that. So Tripura has a rubber production, majorly rubber production. So for the processed rubber, uh, though they have a direct connectivity, it is three sites are covered with Bangladesh. But for the processed rubber, it has to go all the way to Petropol, in the West Bengal, 2,500 kilometers to export the processed rubber to Bangladesh. Although they have a 40-kilometer connectivity from right about from the Agartala border. So how this DFIs can play the role to improve this regional scenario connectivity issue. This is what we are doing. So from the taking some other projects example, I'll not take much time, but just a few examples that we are also working in the ring roads, basically bypassing the city to decongest. Also, the freight can transfer move freely. So one example is Chennai Peripheral Ring Road. Then we are supporting that project. So we are giving the SEZ's economic zone directly to access to the Ennore port and Kamaraja port. Likewise, we have one done a bypass road which is called EPR, Eastern Peripheral Road for Delhi. So just bypassing the northern and southern side traffic from the Delhi should not decongest the city, and that freight movement will be much faster. So we are doing some projects in Bharatmala, many, and of course, and other projects in silos. But eventually the focus is to bring down the logistic cost. Although this currently we are at 14%, which some figures says that some studies say that 14% is logistic cost in India. So we are focusing. JICA is committed to bring down to the single digit number close to 8-9%, and we are doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipulji. That was an excellent. It is very pleasant to know that after almost the successful completion of the western and the eastern, I use the word almost, of the freight corridors, your focus is mainly now on the northeastern states. This is pleasing to know of the excellent work you are doing and focusing there on the northeast. I now need to go on to the next panelist, sir. Thank you so much. I now move on to Mr. Chattopadhyay from Larsen and Toubro. You are the last but not the least. L&T is a big major, sir. We all love our L&Ts. Stocks are giving good returns to us. Thank you so much. And Mr. Chattopadhyay, one simple question, because they are all yelling at us for keeping their lunch waiting. Doesn't matter, but you go on. All right? Simple. One thing is, you are the infrastructure major here. You are a leader in this aspect. You have been there, whether it is bridges, roads, tunnels, what have you. You are right there. Construction, we're not talking about everything there. When you talk about all these things, now what do you see? What is your role? What are your key things? What are you doing? What is your key stuff? What you are going to do? And your future as far as logistics and connectivity is concerned. A simple one-line question. You can answer it in few minutes, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much to Bombay Chambers of Commerce. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for standing between you and the lunch coming. I'll not take much time. As Captain Sir asked me that how L&T is thinking to contribute in this total process of logistic improvement. I'm a person who is involved in construction of road, bridges, airports, tunnels, railways. As L&T, we have constructed almost all major infrastructure, including DFCC. As you explained, Dhubari-Fulbari, one of the major projects that Mishra ji has mentioned. Almost all key projects we are involved, and fortunately, being a business head for that particular area, I am looking after that. And our main intention is to build modern infrastructure for India, improving the logistic for India more efficiently with a faster pace, and making the infrastructure more efficient. Now, what is the meaning of this efficient, more efficient? some of the speaker was just explaining that whatever item you use in your daily life, let it be highly engineered material like mobile phone or maybe low engineered material like your food item, almost 90% to 30%. That is the range of cost of logistic, services and logistic. So if you can make this cost of logistic reduction, then you make your business that much efficient. And thereby this construction of new infrastructure, more efficient infrastructure, it matters so much for our daily life. I'll give you example. I came in Mumbai city in 2000, somewhere 97, 98. That time we used to travel from Mumbai to Pune. It used to be a task. I think that it used to take some 8 to 10 hours traveling from Mumbai to Pune city. And now you can take your breakfast and have your morning meeting going to Pune. I was involved personally in construction of Mumbai-Pune Expressway. That way now all over India we are constructing many other such infrastructure projects. Recently on 16 February, I ran from Nariman Point to Navi Mumbai in just 2.5 hours. Can you imagine, is it possible? Because we ran through the Atal Setu. We constructed 21-kilometer bridge in just 5 years. We're going to construct the Toubro on the river, mighty river Brahmaputra in just 5 years, less than 5 years. We are confident we'll be achieving it in 4.5 years or less. So that is the type of infrastructure development we are trying to make. Airports, we are now constructing almost all major airports in India and Middle East, also many airports like Abu Dhabi we constructed. We are making the airport more and more efficient. I think 20 years back, one aircraft, the total 24 hours, 50% of the time used to be spending in some airport and 50% flying. Now that time span is reducing to 20%, 25%, 75% it is flying. That means the aircraft that used to make 3 trips in a day, that is going to make 6 trips in a day. And that is reducing your cost of travel because same aircraft you are using. So we are making the airport more efficient, faster refueling, faster recharging, faster cleaning, faster ground handling, better passenger boarding bridge, so that your ground time of the aircraft is reducing drastically. Similarly, just like railways, dedicated freight corridor, many speaker has explained how it is improving the complete business for India. We are building high-speed rail, you know. One of the major construction, I think almost 75% of the rail track is being built by L&T. And it will be finished even before time. We'll be traveling through this high-speed rail just half the time. And it will be equivalent to your air travel, almost, time-wise. So that is a huge change is going to happen year after. And you will see a different India very soon.
Thank you, sir. Thanks. We all acknowledge L&T's contribution on the road, rail, all the sector. I fully agree with you. Driving to Pune is a breeze, except for that now. See, again, it says a simple thing, Dil mange more. End of the day, we have moved a long way across. Everything else, like as we said, the client's expectation is inching more and more. He's expecting everything yesterday. Even my boss, when he sends a message, he expects results today. Not like what it was, a ship owner sends a message and the master will reply after 2 days by cablegrams and things like that. We are used to that. Now we have come to this generation. Now this is what we call as connectivity. Sorry, gentlemen, I would like to end this session here because I see glaring faces all across. And I hope it was as entertaining as I enjoyed having a wonderful panelist here. This is like you can literally, I don't think we will have any time for questions. No. So what we will gonna do is, those who want to seek any clarity or anything, you may discuss offline during the lunchtime. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please stay back. Thank you so much for that insightful discussion. As we conclude, I request Shri Rajiv Jalota and Mr. Ravi Ramachandran to kindly come on stage to present the mementos to our speakers as a token of our appreciation. Or Captain Tyagi, kindly join us on stage. Thank you. Round of applause, please. Slightly louder. Thank you. We'll have lunch now. So- request everybody to assemble back at 3 o'clock post lunch because we've got more sessions remaining. Thank you. Have a group picture also. Kindly stay back. Thank you.
Saying this.